In 2020, after President Trump was not reelected, and early 2021, there were a lot of prophets going around talking about why those things happened and what was going to be going on in the future. Because many of them had failed in their prophecies about his reelection, obviously. So there was a group of ministers, pastors, and prophets, and one of them, and I don't remember which one, prophesied to watch for 2 deaths in one day. And I've remembered that and thought about that prophecy off and on through the last 4 years. Well, a couple of days ago, 2 obviously political, world affecting deaths happened in one day. And they actually happened at the same time, where the president and the foreign minister of Iran died in a helicopter crash that no information has been released about from the Iranian government. So, what does that mean? Well, we don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there are going to be those who are going to come up and tell us that they know, but I doubt it. What I do know is that Jesus told us to know the signs of the times in which we live. Jesus told us to watch and be ready for his return. And Jesus told us to pray to the Lord of the harvest to send workers to the fields which were ripe. In these days, the earth is more ripe than ever. And the church, in the Western culture specifically, where the church is being persecuted strongly, in those nations, there is church growth. In the Western culture, where everybody's seeking to live the good life and waiting for the rapture to come rescue them, that church is not growing in leaps and bounds. By some estimates, it's not growing at all. So, that just says that we're not doing the work that God has called us to do. We're not preaching the gospel. We're not laying hands on the sick and seeing them recover. We're not casting out demons. We're not raising the dead. We're not making disciples. These are the things Jesus said that all believers should be doing. So in these days of great political, financial turmoil in the earth and all the nations, horrific weather events creating havoc and death and destruction all around the world, and so much political turmoil and wars and disputes going on around the world, it seems like we are in the end times. And what did Jesus tell us about the end times? He told us to watch and be ready for his return so that we're not caught unaware. Don't be caught sleeping. Don't be caught messing around, doing other things. Be about the Father's business, doing the work of the kingdom, and aware of what's going on, but not caught up in it so that we lose focus on his return. Being ready for his return as individuals, as families and fellowships, as churches and ministries and denominations. We need to be watching for and ready for his return. And the church in the West is not. So, 2 deaths in one day. These are political, these are significant. But are they the deaths that were prophesied? I don't know. I've been waiting 4 years for this prophecy to be fulfilled, and maybe this is it. But what does it mean? I don't know, because they didn't specify what was going to happen. They just said to watch for 2 deaths in one day. But that's the kind of prophecy that God does give us. He tells us to watch for these events so that we'll be paying attention to what's going on around us. So that we'll be paying attention to what's going on around the world. so that we'll be ready for whatever it is that God is doing in these days. So wake up, church in America. Wake up, church in the West. Pay attention to what God is doing. Things are happening, and we're not doing the work of the kingdom. We're not reaping the harvest. Seek God first, His righteousness, His kingdom. Do that which God has given you to do, because we're all called to do the Great Commission. Be blessed in the name of Jesus.